What was it that you said to me earlier? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Happy trails, Hans. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Die Hard, the first of the Die Hard quintology, 5 films, with a 6th on the way eventually. They're doing pre-production on it. It'll be McClane, that will be the title. So, Die Hard, the classic 1988 action thriller, which sees a New York cop trapped on his own, trapped in a building with terrorists who have got the rest of these, got the staff of the building, including the cop's wife, hostage. So the cop, this cop, John McClane, has to rescue everybody and kill all the terrorists and stop them from robbing the tower. It's basically a sort of terrorist group, but also they're doing a high-tech robbery, strong-armed robbery. So yeah, that's the basic plot of Die Hard, and it's a fucking awesome movie. This film, this is a classic film. This is so good. For starters, Bruce Willis is perfectly cast as John McClane, the wisecracking but also mumbling cop. He does mumble, but that's when he's complaining about something oftenly. And he's great. I also love Alan Rickman as the villain, Hans Gruber. He is such a great villain, and Rickman plays him with such style. And it's just great seeing McClane having to tackle all these situations, having to kill all these people on his own for quite a while before he's able to eventually get in contact with the police. And even when he does, the police don't really do much. They're stuck a bit. Even when the FBI come in, they're in this situation that they can't do much to help. They try their tactics, but they didn't quite work, and it's inevitably up to McClane to eventually save everybody, or nearly everybody, as there's at least 2 people who die. 2 hostages, that is. And amongst these hostages, not any of the ones who died, but amongst the hostages is his wife, who he's having a bit of a relationship problem at the time. It's not 100% clear, but the fact, I think it's a rocky relationship because she went off to, she had to do this job in LA and he had to stay behind in New York, and he didn't think she'd be successful, but lo and behold, she's very successful. And now she's also changed her name back to her, despite still being married to him, she's changed her name to her maiden name. So they're they're in a rocky relationship at the moment in this installment. However, by the end, they're back together, they're happy again. Won't last too long. Second film, they'll be happy, but after that, not giving anything away until we get to those films. Well, I don't think there's anything mentioned about it in part 5, but that's more focused on the father-son relationship in that film, and there's a father-daughter relationship in the 4th film. But certainly there's a husband-wife relationship in this film and the 2nd film, and there's also hints of it in the 3rd. And like I said, they're kind of in a rocky relationship here. They're going to be happy at the end. 2nd film, they're going to be happy. By the time the 3rd film, things are going to be a bit different, and discuss a bit more about that later, around that time, if I remember. And I also really like this, the police cop McClane gets in contact with, Howe, I think. He's fun, he's entertaining, he's got some great moments, and he has a nice bit of backstory where at one point he accidentally shot a teenager, although that teenager had a gun. Not too dissimilar to what happens in Lethal Weapon 2, which came out 4 years later, although that kid was slightly older than 13, I think. But it reminds me of that bit. Maybe they took inspiration from for that scene from this film, from the backstory in this film. But yeah, that's the character of Howe has an interesting backstory, and he's able to overcome this fear of not having to shoot people, firing a weapon at the end when he saves McClane's life from a terrorist who seems to have died earlier, but turns out to still be alive, making Gruber not the last terrorist to die, which is a bit of a shame because it would have been cool for him to die. Maybe if it was that black guy, the limo driver, ran in, punched in the face in the ambulance. Maybe if it was that guy, because I don't think that guy died. The black hacker guy, I think he was the only black terrorist. But that hacker terrorist guy, I don't think he's dead. I think the limo guy just drove into his escape ambulance and punched him, but I don't think he's dead unless, I don't know, that punch killed him. I don't think so, though. The limo guy doesn't have superpowers. It was just a punch. And speaking of the limo guy, he doesn't get much to do, but whenever he's on screen, it's always a joy, especially when he has stuff to do, like when he's driving into that ambulance thing. And his conversations with McClane earlier on are pretty cool. And he's just such a great guy. He's such a likable personality. I just wish he had more to do with the plot. But what we got with him was great. I also liked the FBI agents, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Johnson. One of them, the Big Johnson, is played by Robert Darby, who plays not an FBI agent, but a cop in Predator 2. He's sort of a captain character. Both these characters are quite contrast to his character from the James Bond film License to Kill, where in that film he plays a drug lord and the main villain of that installment, which I'll be reviewing in August. Next Bond review will be A View to a Kill. It'll be 2 films after that, so that'll be in August. You can check out Predator 2 and Lethal Weapon 3 reviews out now. But yeah, Robert Darby is great as this FBI agent, and also this other FBI agent that's with him, he's quite fun as well. They have some fun scenes. I didn't really think much of the news reader and news journalist angle of the film. I mean, the news report's fine, but the journalist going around trying to get to the scoop, not so much, because although he does do something that does make Hans Gruber realise John McClane is Holly's husband when he goes to interview the kid, go and talk to the kids at the house, which also leads to Holly punching him in the face as he puts her life in danger, as Gruber found out about her and John, as well as also putting her children in danger in a way, because after this, who knows who the terrorists could have gone after. This also sets up a subplot in the second film, which I'll talk more about then. But besides those bits, it wasn't quite as important or quite as good. And it was the weakest part of the film by a long shot, but it's still effective. I also like how the first quarter of an hour almost plays out as a drama. About the first 14 minutes, it plays like a drama, and then around that 14-minute mark, we see the lorry truck with the terrorists in it coming up, and then another 5 minutes of drama stuff, and then the plot gets going about 19 minutes in. I think that's great. It's setting up the characters. It's quite fun. I do have to say the credits go on for a long time. The last credit is played 7 to 8 minutes into the film. Taking your time showing your list of credits, guys. But it's not a complaint, it's just a notification. have to say the stunt work is amazing. The visual effects are brilliant. I think it's mostly a practical film, though, and it just looks great. And the sets just look like an office. I would actually believe they actually filmed in an actual proper office, and in an actual tower block even. And all the exterior shots look like they could have been shot at an actual tower block. They might have been. I'm not sure. But it just looks great. It has that genuine feel of a tower, an office tower on fire. And the film was made before such a thing would frighten people, unlike, say, the film Inferno, which came out last year. No, not Inferno, Skyscraper, which was basically Die Hard with a building on fire. Which I didn't see, but by the looks of it, it was basically Die Hard with a building on fire throughout the majority of the film, as opposed to the second half of this film, final act, where they blew up the building, at the top of the building, as well as the bottom earlier on, but that didn't sustain as much damage as the top. But Skyscraper looked to be about a burning building with a security guard's family trapped at the top by terrorists or thieves or someone. So yeah, it was basically Die Hard but the building was more on fire. Yeah. Also with real life catastrophes, this film actually sort of predicts such events, such as the two towers and the Grenfell Tower. Disasters, so it kind of predicts those films, and like I said, it was made at a time where such a thing would be a cool movie experience, but something like Skyscraper would be more of a traumatic experience, perhaps, or just disrespectful. But I think Die Hard's, even if Die Hard had been made today, I think they would have been respectful to it. I'm not sure about Skyscraper, I haven't seen it, but I think Die Hard would have stayed respectful. And it's a great film, really well put together. Everybody knows what they're doing. And they handle it so well. It's a great action epic, and just, great stuff. And there's some nice comedy thrown in there throughout, mainly from McClane, but also a bit from Gruber as well in places, as well as Howe. Howe, and the FBI agents. And some of the other terrorists, such as what did I say he was called? Hacker. Like that hacker, and also from Argyle, the limo driver. They were all great. Got great stuff, and the cast, I think, do a brilliant job. Everything just falls into place for this film. It just looks so good. It just is so great. On the whole, Die Hard is a fantastic action movie, and certainly worthy of all the praise it's gotten over the years since its release in 1988, 31 years ago. So I'm going to give Die Hard a 10 out of 10.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Yeah, just absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love and enjoy this film. It's such a great film, and certainly a worthy classic. Okay, so that's it from me. Next time, we'll be taking a look at the first Die Hard sequel, Die Hard 2, also known as Die Hard 2, Die Harder. This one takes place at an airport in Washington, D.C., and it's still a great film. So, yeah, I'll be taking a look at that next, and I'll see you guys then. Goodbye.
Fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. The fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel.
Excuse me. He does mumble, but he has the right to. But I won't spoil. And also what's but yeah, it's just besides that and the fact that which was basically, and it's still, and it's a great film. I think it's slightly a bit long. I think maybe it could have been a bit shorter, but you know what? Fuck it. It's actually no. I don't have that problem. Excuse me. So yeah, it might have been better. No, screw that. What was that you said to me earlier? Yippee-ki. What was it that you said to me earlier? Yippee-ki-yay. Hang on. What was it that you said to me earlier? Hang on. Prick. Blast it. Happy trails, Hans. I have a better idea.